button that Paul did. This is this Paul. Did Paul open up a room?
No, no.
My opinion.
I was waiting for it to start, and I saw that you started it. Hold on.
Okay. Hey,
I
Paul.
I would say, I would
Hi,
say
Stephen.
I would say good morning because I can say it's good morning because I'm here in California this morning, in San Diego. But you guys would you guys don't think it's morning, do you?
No, the
I
sun
mean,
is setting here in South Florida already, Mike. Paul, it's been raining all day.
Has
and
it?
no, it's supposed to. Yes,
It's
it's
here.
and it's supposed to rain again like this tomorrow as well.
Well, I'm very excited about this tool. Hopefully, Grant. A lot of these people are new to Clubhouse, so this whole idea of coming into Clubhouse. There he is. It's going to be
Hi, Grant.
exciting talking to Grant.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Tamika. Good to talk to you again. Hey, Paul, Michael.
Good
Because
afternoon in
what
Miami.
Rockville is doing is very exciting. What they've created here to really create easy to use, create pro formas, inexpensive, to be able to analyze properties. And, we have a lot of people working with multifamily and shopping centers. And so we're excited about it. I just talked with Steven, so he should be here any minute. And then we're gonna start. We'll start.
Fantastic.
In the meantime, while
I'm
Well,
everybody's
here.
coming on, who's excited about going out to San Diego for NAR this year?
Well, I'm already here, so I'm the exception. I'm the very much the exception to the rule because I came here a little early. We have a friend of the family has a big birthday party this weekend, so we're testing San Diego for you, and I'm here to tell you it's fine to come.
there you go. San
Is it?
Diego's, it's beautiful over there. It's like,
How's the humidity there, Paul?
What humidity? That's the question. I mean, it was nice and cool this morning. I had breakfast, and then I walked out, and it was my daughter was like, she thought it was like she was on a different planet, but it was all good. Did any of you go go shooting last night?
I was there.
I
It
saw
was.
pictures of you, and
Oh well. See,
Yeah.
and did you guys hit
No, I was
anything?
unable to attend.
Did you hit
I
anything?
hit I hit 6 or 8 out of 25. So I was like barely barely scratching the surface. I understand somebody hit 14 out of 25. I'm not sure who that somebody was, but I think that was the best. That's
Well,
a pretty good score.
Yeah.
all I can say is some of my friends having guns in their hands was kind of just an unnerving experience, but I'm glad you guys had a great time.
I think the fact that you had a bullseye on you was a bigger problem.
Yeah, Mike, you don't want to wear those Target shirts anymore.
Yeah. Listen, I took Wednesday to recover from our Top Golf on Tuesday night, so um, I just tried to get
Lanice
ready
was
for anything
there.
else. Yeah,
Lanice Camacho was there. How did you enjoy
Hi.
the shooting, Lanice?
It was a lot of fun, but I think I'm the worst.
well, you had more courage than I, and you showed up
I
and you
mean, I
tried it, so
couldn't
good
hit
for you.
anything. When, you know, it just,
Well, Michael, you know Rockval as well as anybody because you've been using it, and so you want to start the conversation out.
Sure. Well, want to welcome Grant to the stage. Grant, I think it's one of your first times on Clubhouse. Is that correct, or you're you're kind of new to this? Yes. So welcome.
yes, yes, sir. Thank you.
Um, Grant has been developing Rock Valve at least I saw in the bio, for several years as what he sees as an opportunity, a platform to really help us as agents be able to evaluate and present properties that are investment properties that show cash flow to our buyers and to our sellers, um, you know, relatively quickly and easily without going through the headache and time consumption that in-depth Argus spreadsheets do. So it's a platform, and he's proud of the fact that it's not an app; it's a platform, and that's where we are. So I've been lucky enough to have been playing around with it for the last couple of weeks, and so I'm intrigued by it. It is fairly easy to use. There is a learning curve to it, and he can address that. But as far as like the little help buttons and things that are scattered around everything, I think that's really a nice feature. So, Grant, I'll let you take it away and talk about it. So, for those of you that are online, if you want to look it up, it is rockval.com, and you can click on it and you'll see some information on it there if you want to follow along with what Grant's talking about.
Awesome,
Go ahead, Grant.
awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you to the Miami commercial realtors for having me on the Clubhouse today. Really honored to be here. So yeah, Michael, your explanation was pretty spot on. We've built a platform that essentially has over 40 million properties um, and transactions, mortgage amounts, unmasked ownership data, um, and a lot of other information that we're bringing in to essentially help you identify, underwrite, and then share your deals with your investors or clients. So making it extremely intuitive and just very, very simple. We like to use the term TurboTax easy, where you have this kind of guided process of being able to navigate through a deal that's underwritten, and with the end goal for us being able to automate a lot of the steps in the process. And with automation requires data, and we've been integrating with some of the biggest and most prevalent data providers in the industry. We just announced yesterday or the day before our partnership with Compstat. We are bringing on CMBS data currently, and we also have done a deal with Cherry and a few others, as well as another company called SafeGraph. So, really powering this with all of these premier data sets that you would otherwise have to spend thousands of dollars for. Not to mention kind of the traditional underwriting enterprise softwares out there in the industry that are thousands of dollars. So the really big difference with Rockval is it's extremely affordable. So we're looking at a price point of $20 a month per user, and it really kind of levels up your ability to compete with some of these corporate players, especially with larger budgets. Did anybody else have any questions or comments kind of on that piece?
Yeah. And if anyone else in the audience has questions, come on up as well. Um, because we have members, Tamika does a lot in Broward, and she works with everything from multifamily to shopping centers. Michael does a lot. We talked about multifamily, and he's got some land. Can you give us maybe an example of how one of our members might use it, almost like a case study? So if Lenny's, let's say, was working with an investor that's looking for a multifamily between 14 and 22 units, how would she approach your system to be able to send something impactful and to win that client, to win that investor?
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, if you're looking for a specific multifamily deal, you would essentially click on multifamily, say kind of the unit range that you're looking for. You can also drill down and say, we're only looking for multifamily in neighborhoods that meet this, income demographic criteria, things of that nature. So it gives you a little bit more to level up your analysis. You can also search to say with the CMBS data that we're bringing in, I only want to see markets with certain rent criteria as well. So with 3 clicks, you can essentially click multifamily, the unit range, and then what you can do is actually build custom lists for each of your clients or investors. So if you have one client in mind, let's call her Sarah. She's looking for this kind of deal profile. You can kind of tag all of those deals with that client and then be able to share those deals with that client. You take that a step further and you can actually, within a few clicks, be able to do a full pro forma on each of those deals. So say you wanted to present them with 5 different deals. Within 30 minutes, you can have all 5 deals underwritten and being able to share those different deals with that client, whether or not they have access to Rockval. So you can actually share a link directly with them.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things that I found really cool was that you could do real-time sharing with your clients. So you could send them this link. They would be able to look at your dashboard. And if you've got some assumptions, maybe your vacancy is too high or you didn't increase the taxes or something like that, you can do real-time back and forth conversation with your client right there. They can adapt it or adjust their assumptions, and you guys can literally collaborate real time with this, right, Grant?
Yes, sir. So that's really part of our. We're trying to take the friction out of this process, and being able to collaborate and kind of suggest different opportunities, depending if your client says okay, you shared me this deal, and you're underwriting at a 4 cap. I think it's a 5 cap, and being able to kind of facilitate that conversation directly there. Another thing that we're doing is a concept of these interactive dashboards. So what we're trying to do, so rather than sending a static kind of PDF, we really find it engaging to send an interactive dashboard where if they're looking at your assumptions or rents, things of that nature, they can actually see what's live going on in market, and being able to kind of interact with that information. So rather than having it kind of a stale PDF, you can actually interact with the data that's supporting these different assumptions.
Hi, Grant. How are you? This is Lenny Camacho with Open Real Estate Management. Do you also have data related to the income expenses ratio for the market that I may be searching for?
Yes. So like that's our next piece. We're going to be announcing a few different data partners actually next week, and you'll have all of those ratios by asset class, by submarket, or actually by as down as the to the property level. But absolutely, so you'll have all of that information there as well.
Well,
Oh, cool. That sounds amazing.
to that point, how are you integrating the Compstat data? How would that interact with your data, and how would our members be able to use that?
Yeah. So with respect to Compstat, Compstat is a very valuable source of leased comps. I'm not sure if anybody's here has used Compstat in the past, but
We
as
have a
we're a
we
data,
have a partnership with them, and CCIM does as well. So our members are pretty familiar. They get some free preloaded comps. So go ahead.
got it. Yeah, no worries. So essentially, what we're doing is we're using the Compstat data to help derive um, market rents and ranges of these rents for different areas within the market. We're also telling you, how close these buildings are. As Comstack is a client-facing platform, we are not, displaying every single granular piece of information that they would otherwise provide. As our pricing, we're looking at a $20 a month kind of price point compared to some of these other platforms, but we're able to give you a range of values of recent comps that would meet that, be a comp for that property that you're underwriting, if that makes sense. So essentially, we're taking a derivative of the data that we're getting from Compstack, and we're able to present you with ranges of comp values and kind of a little bit more insights on when this transaction was completed, how far away is this property, things of that nature.
Yeah. So, Grant, I got a question. So, when you have all these partners, we're always looking for accuracy. We want to be able to go out and put quality information in front of our clients. How often do you do updates or check for accuracy and things like that as far as your data? Is that like a weekly, a monthly? What kind of systems do you have in place for updates?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we're doing our machine learning and algorithms get updated every week. And it also depends on the data partner and how frequently that they are updating on their end. A lot of these updates are being done weekly. Um, and essentially what we're doing, and the reason why we're a much kind of different offering, is we don't rely on one data set. We correlate multiple data sets for the best predictions regarding rents, cap rates, things of that nature. So, you know, we've all kind of been in this world with data. You're only as good as your data, and if you can rely on something as in the industry, kind of the gold standard in terms of data is the CMBS market data. Having the ability to have this data that's fully audited, because if anybody's not familiar with CMBS, CMBS is a uh, commercial mortgage-backed security. They have to comply with various federal regulations, and they're continuously auditing that information. So when we rely on operating expenses and income ratios and various NOIs per door or per square foot, depending on the asset class, the heaviest weighted data that we're using is the CMBS market because of those data, because of the integrity. On top of that, we're bringing platform providers like Compstat, like Cherry, and a few others to kind of help build, more recent information or kind of cross-check various values.
Great, thanks. We brought a couple more people up on stage. So I think Eileen's got a question, and then Pablo, you'll be up next on your question. Eileen, how are you?
Hey, Michael. Hey, everyone. Great stuff. I actually can say the free trial that you provide for 7 days was a easy sign up. So I'm in there right now, and really cool stuff. Very easy to sign up, and I'm kind of working through it. I have a quick question, which is, I know you have a lot of properties in the system, but what if we have a property that is not in the system? Can we still analyze it?
Yes, yes. So you can add a new property. There's a property plus button that you should be able to add. And if we don't have a property that you're working on, that we have we should have every property in the system. So I would love to hear, every property in existence. So outside of single family residential, we don't include that, but every non-residential single family residential property we should have. So I would love to hear feedback. If you're not finding something, please feel free to directly contact me. But there is a plus property button at the top
Right?
that you should be able to add a new property as well.
That's great. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
I think I'm next.
Oh, actually, before I go, I have one other quick question because besides doing on your discounted cash flows, besides PV, do you do net present value too? Because some investors like to see the NPV.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Perfect.
NPV and included. So this is our new platform. This platform started from an enterprise suite, and we have all of this additional granularity in terms of cash flow modeling, things of that nature, to where you can do sensitivity analysis and various scenarios. And we're continuously kind of building this in. I guess a little bit more background on Rockval is I worked at Woolbright Development. I've worked at the Altman companies and hung my license with Simonelli. And what we wanted to do is bring this in from the industry. So I went to Cornell for finance and real estate, and while I was there, I was frustrated with kind of the complexity that another discounted cash flow analysis software entailed, and we required a 3-day certification course and things of that nature. So I taught myself how to code and the infrastructure and the machine learning and things of that nature. And then last March, we raised our first round of equity, and essentially we raised from people in South Florida that are in the business. So our investors are top performers at JLL, CBRE, Cushman, Angelo Gordon, Citigroup, things of that nature. We're about to do another VC round, or about to do a VC round. And actually today we officially announced our crowd raise. And that's kind of a difference with our platform as well, as we want to be community owned and backed and really, keep close to the industry. And as, the Miami Board of Realtors knows, they're a very proactive, organization that's, involved in the tech and really helping their members stay ahead of various kind of technologies out there. So, kudos to them for kind of incorporating that into their organization. But I wanted to mention that as kind of a backstory on how Rockval has been, or how we were originated.
Grant, I also worked at Woolbright, so I got a little thing in common there with you. That was quite a while, but if
Hey,
a property's put in the system that is not in the system, and we want to keep it private because the ownership does not want the information as part of the system, is that possible?
Yeah, so any properties that you add on your own, or any of the performers that you add into the system, those are all confidential. Those are all only visible to you.
Great.
But so what we do is we want to add the research properties in there as kind of it's a starting point. So you're not starting from scratch, and you're able to kind of surface a lot of this other information as you enter the platform, and that's where we really see ourselves as more of a platform than a standalone tool.
Hey, Pablo, what's your question for Grant?
Yeah, I was just going to ask because a lot of us in this room are brokers, and as you probably know, the way brokers work often is we build a database or a CRM by importing contacts as well as property data into that CRM. And then what I've seen a lot of these valuation programs is that they link with the CRM so that at least the basic information of, let's say, a property could be conveniently fed into the system. And then, of course, Rockval would produce the reports and probably output it or export it out to your contacts. But I was wondering, do you guys plan ever on linking with different CRMs out there just for convenience?
Yes, absolutely. So, with respect to contact databases, we link up with the top, some of the top contact CRMs out there. But on the property side, you mean just being able to auto import various property sets, or are you
Yeah.
talking just more on the contacts?
No, let's say you're working with 10 properties and you've populated a lot of basic information on these properties, maybe even a rent roll or some financials, but also just details on the property, and you just want to, just push a button and push it into the valuation model just to save you time. And then the valuation model does its reports, and maybe even does an OM or something, and then you can shoot it back to the CRM, or just leave it there. But it's just that 10 properties, it could take you 10 minutes or 20 minutes to have those details on each property in your CRM, and you'd have to repeat double input into Rockwood if that's what you're using for to do reports and valuations and things like that.
Yeah. So absolutely. So one of the next pieces that we're going to be rolling in is kind of that automated rent roll and operating statement import process. So you don't have to tediously, enter in by hand all that additional information. That's something that is extremely sought after from people that we've talked to, and yeah, that's one of our highest priorities right now.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
so for those of you that are just joining us, we're talking with Grant Weiss. He is one of the founders of Rockval. Grant, I didn't see your partner Scott on the call. I guess he couldn't make it, but he's always welcome to join us in the future. Um, so the short is Rockval is a evaluation platform. So those of you that are joining, if you've got questions or want to learn some more about this new tech tool, raise your hand and we'll bring you up on the stage. I see Chepe and Kevin have joined us. You guys got some questions or comments for Grant or Rockval?
Yeah, Grant, good afternoon. This is Chepe, and thank you for presenting with us today. I'm looking at your product. I haven't seen it before. I was a little bit late on the call, so maybe the question was asked already. When I look at your brochure, let's say your website, I see that you have pictures on top of everything else that's the whole slot of products like the pro forma and everything else. How are those pictures taken? Or what are the pictures part of the presentation, or your presentation you need to bring your own pictures?
Yeah, so you do have to at this point provide your own property images um, for for these various properties. As a platform, we had a proprietary research database of retail shopping centers, which we've kind of backed away from. Those are the pictures that you would be seeing. But yeah, so you'd have the ability to add your own pictures to the service.
You understand why my question on the picture, because we're having a lot of issues with certain companies just trying to get people because of the pictures on anything that you present. They pretend that they own the picture, so that's why my question.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and I know the reference, and we're very cautious with what data comes in and out. As our users are inputting their own, um, as our users are importing their own images, they kind of are, with our privacy policy and in terms of service, they assure their own ownership. Obviously, this has been, the intellectual property rights in this space has been definitely major topic of conversation. So yeah, it's kind of uh, a very something that we take very seriously with respect to kind of what data and what intellectual property we provide versus um, being provided by the user.
Hey, Grant, I got a question for you, and then we'll bring Kevin up. Someone sent me a message on the back channel. Wanted to know what are you, the CRM question that you're looking to integrate some information from CRMs. Is there any of them in particular that are more requested than others that you're looking at, or can you talk about that?
Yes, absolutely. So between the users and this is talking like the different property CRMs. One of the traditional CRMs in this industry, I guess, RealNext has always been kind of the market that we kind of see ourselves, primarily facilitating, kind of have that, we're some of the original users of the RealNext out there. But any structured data that has, we have common language programs. So as long as the export fits within, um, our import process, using artificial intelligence and machine learning to identify, key fields, we'll be able to import that. So a lot of these property, CRM softwares out there will have a very common field threshold because obviously, we're collecting all the same data. So a lot of that is pretty standard at this point.
Mhm. So again, Rockval is a new product. Paul and I have met with Grant a couple of times, and we're looking at this, and we're going to see what we can do and uh, enhance the value for our members with Miami Commercial. And we're certainly looking at and want to do some work with Rockval in the near future. So we really want to encourage you all to try it out, at least do the 7-day trial. And if you've got some comments, reach out to Paul or myself or Grant. They're great to work with. We've had a couple meetings, and I think it's going to be something that's really going to help some of our members here. So that's why we're super happy to bring them onto Clubhouse and talk about this new platform. So I see some new people here in the audience. If everybody's got some questions, raise your hands. And
I think Stephen might have something, but
oh, did I
before
miss Steven?
over to him, it is rockval.com, right? And they can do the trial on there. Please check out the product. We feel really good. The price point is really good. If you're working with investors, it's got a lot of great tools. Stephen, you have something?
Yes, thank you, Paul and Mike and Grant. Nice to meet you. I just have a couple of questions, more kind of drill down stuff. If you had a property that, in terms of analyzing it, and then I have a follow up question as well. But if you had a property that you're analyzing, and say it's a redevelopment deal, and you're going to leave a couple of tenants in place for 2 years while you're doing the development plan and the site plan and all that, and then it's going to go vacant for 2 years while you're renovating it or redeveloping it, and then you're going to re-tenant it with lease up and all those capital expenses that would have been involved in redevelopment. Does the program handle those different levels of cash flows easily?
Yes, sir. So one of the with our office retail, so you can do it on any of the asset classes, but we have a renovation schedule, which essentially allows you to stagger different tenants and leases according to various construction schedules as well. And yeah, so you can do that on the multifamily side. You can add your cost component. And then on the CapEx schedules, you can either do this within our renovation. If you're saying you're going to build them out, $50 a foot over 9 months, you can evenly or distribute that over the time of that renovation, or you can kind of use our month by month CapEx schedule to really fine tune which months occur with which cash flows, depending on the granularity you want to underwrite.
Okay, that's interesting. So if you had a property you were going to maybe just wipe clean, it'll also handle that type of variability within the cash and the cap expense side. That's interesting.
So
Um,
so
my,
I
my,
spent probably too many hours developing those renovation schedules.
yeah, that's the hard part when everything starts changing and you have to build in the delays and this kind of thing. What about on a kind of a different subject? The second question: does it will it handle kind of portfolios, like multiple properties, for the purposes of calculating a portfolio-wide ROI or that type of analysis?
So the short answer is it can. That was kind of pushed back in our product roadmap as we're the portfolio analysis versus the individual property, being able to loop those cash flows into one kind of portfolio is it's a simple process on our end, but to date it does not. But that's something that we've definitely considered for our future pipeline.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Sounds like a really great product.
I have to say, roadmap, old paper roadmaps are such an antique, but yet that term has come back in our lexicon in the last year or so. Everyone's talking about the roadmap as far as, like it's a new thing, but it's been around forever. I think it's crazy. Sorry, little side note there. Uh,
Yeah, no worries. But
so
and kind of,
while
I guess, I'm sorry.
while we're on roadmap, what else is on your roadmap?
Yeah. So we're officially, submitted our app to the iOS, Apple, the App Store and the Google Play Store. So these apps will be available on your phone because as brokers and investors, being on the go and having that accessibility to data is very important. Fine tuning and adding additional data partners. So the CMBS data is something that we're extremely excited about incorporating into our offering. I'm not sure if anybody's ever tried to access CMBS data individually, but it's extremely pricey. But with our data partnerships, we've been able to, offer this within our $20 a month subscription. So having that data and having the ability to really drive three separate valuations, um, you know, from the top of the research. So having recent comps and being able to compare on a per square foot basis, doing this kind of automated income approach scenario, as well as the comp based on the cap rate analysis, and being able to kind of give you insights into which properties could you be targeting based on a value add opportunity, as well as which properties haven't sold in the last 7-10 years. Because maybe that's a good owner to call and be able to target for a potential value add scenario as well. But yeah, really helping use the data to identify these opportunities in the marketplace is something that we're going to continuously add on. And then, as we mentioned, kind of that OCR automated import to ensure that you don't have to repeat all this data entry. That's probably one of the most sought after features from the clients that we've brought on. Nobody wants to re-enter data. It seems to be the biggest or the bigger pain point out there. So adding that additional functionality and yeah, essentially trying to streamline that process of finding opportunities for your clients or for yourself, and then being able to underwrite those and not have to spend hours and headaches going back and forth. I'm sure a lot of people on the call have had email chains of multiple different OMs and Excel models going back and forth, and our ability to kind of bring that transparency and that communication layer up to the surface to make that as easy as possible is something that we're continuously working on.
Well, I think it's fascinating. I think it's a great idea and a great product. So we had a couple people that raised their hands, but then they seem to have dropped off the call. So
I'll ask you.
Daniel, Ed, Jennifer, Zariah, Stephen, you got another question? Go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple of couple of more drill down questions. I noticed that I couldn't see it since I'm just a basic 7-day trial guy, but I noticed that it provided some significant demographic information in the software, and then I was looking for a property that I'm trying to sell, and it finds it on the map, but it didn't really bring up any data. So my on the property itself. So my question is, in both cases, both for the demographics and the property data, what do you guys use? Like, who do you interface with to provide the demographic data? Is it ESRI or RPR or who? And then as well, who you interface with to get your property information.
Got it. And yeah, I would love if you could send that address to me. I would, I'll look into that on a personal level. My email is grant, grant, @rockval.com. I'd love to troubleshoot that with you. So our property data comes from a data provider called Cherre, CHERRE. They are kind of the prominent new data provider on the market. I know that they integrate and have relationships with some of the traditional aggregators of this public property data, such as CoreLogic and Atom. On the demographic level, we have demographics that we pull from them, and then our 135 mile radius demographics come directly from Esri. So that's where we're getting our demos.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you for putting that out there. Yeah, I'll email you just as a aside to figure that out. Thank you.
Hey Grant,
Thank
this
you.
is Eileen. Do you happen to have like some kind of tutorial of sorts that or demo online that's available?
Yes. So there's on-screen tutorials inside the experience, but we have a few that we're rolling into the platform as we speak. So yes.
One of the things that we were really excited about is that this is a price point that really makes sense for our members. And we want everyone to get in, try the system, get on the trial. You can also email Paul at Miami RE. You can email me because we're going to be working with Grant and hopefully, with the people on here like Michael and Steven and Tamika and Pepe, we're going to, have a work group checking it out and Jennifer Forbes so that we can give some final feedback and hopefully sign an agreement where our members get a discount. But we want your feedback too, whether you're a member or not, on this to check it out. Go to Rockville, get the trial, and email myself or one of the leaders here to give them some feedback so we can hopefully soon sign a deal with them. The price point is already great and work something out, and they'll be doing training and things like that as well. So I just wanted to kind of tie that up. Is there anyone else that would like to come on stage? Tamika, what kind of properties are you looking at right now in your marketplaces that you or investors you're working with that you might be
Right.
able to use a product like this?
Right now, I'm looking for multifamily information. I do have some people that are looking for some retail centers as well. I mean, I actually did this with Grant a couple of months back for an investor that wanted to test the product out. So it is really good.
I think that Grant is getting a power washing done right now.
I'm
Um,
actually so I was at an event. I was at an event
no,
in Boca today at the Marriott, and I'm in the lobby, and they're seeming to do like a lot of work here. So I'm trying to find a quiet space to go. I'm sorry about that.
no, it's okay. Well, I knew you were at an event and you popped out, so we appreciate it. We wanted to get a working group here. We're fortunate we have Jennifer and Chepe, and of course President Stephen Riggle and President-elect Michael, and so it's really good opportunity for them to be on and so we can
Yes.
move on this. Hmm.
Yes. I think
Awesome.
a work
And
group with all of us would be really great.
absolutely. And next week, so as I mentioned, bringing on that CMBS data provider, really, we're really excited about that as the data is extremely, extremely valuable. Being able to kind of incorporate that, and then continuously kind of bringing about enhancements in the platform, over significant enhancements over the next few months, to really kind of bring this to a stage where it's just as seamless as possible. Where if it's integrating with your current system, or if it's importing various market rents, things of that nature, in kind of a dynamic way. So it's really saving you a lot of time, money, and effort. And at the end of the day, if you're on the broker side, if you're on the investor side, being able to do more deals and have somewhat of a CRM to kind of help manage everything that you have in your current pipeline.
Grant, I have another just question slash comment. If you're in, you said you're in Boca. Are you a Florida guy, South Florida guy, or are you just making the rounds to Boca?
Yes, sir. So I'm a South Florida guy. I was born and raised in Wellington. Went to school in Delray Beach. Went to college in New York, and then I moved back down to Boca when I worked at Woolbright. And actually now I live in Jupiter, Florida. So yeah, I'm local. I've been going back and forth to Miami quite a bit recently. Really, really happy about the Bright Line coming back online. Driving back and forth to Miami 4 times in a week, could kind of puts a little bit of stress on your back, but happy to be a part of this new kind of South Florida As I mentioned, we're raising capital, we're hiring, a lot of local people, high-paying jobs, and really helping this, as we've seen, this kind of transformative South Florida as not being, this market that is just for vacation, but really, bringing a lot of tech talent and new companies like Rockval to the scene.
That's fabulous. Where you guys are located in Palm Beach County, I guess you said. What how many employees do you have, and what does the employee growth look like? I see your hiring moniker on your photo, which is very elegant there on Clubhouse. What is your current number of employees, and where do you think you'll be, say, a year out?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, so last March it was myself. Today we have 9 people working full time for Rockval. And as we go to this next round, we're doing a larger venture capital round. I would expect us to grow up to 25 within a year from now.
That's amazing. Congratulations. What a technological leap you guys are taking with everything you're doing. It sounds like a project that you could really sink your teeth into. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. No, I'm really happy to be in this space, in this part of the market, and yeah, it's been a journey, but it seems like things are really starting to come together, and yeah, we're extremely excited on this end.
This is a quick opportunity, just real quick here. This clubhouse is paid for by Miami Commercial and CCIM. So three of our leaders up here. Stephen, I want Stephen to talk a little bit about our commercial marketplace, which everyone here is invited to with Puerto Rico. I would love Michael to talk about his Outlook conference, and Tamika her ideas about this Miami Gardens event that we're going to do in the first quarter. So let's start with Stephen and then go to Michael.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Paul. So yeah, I'm the current president of Miami Commercial, and we this year from our planning conference developed the global commercial marketplaces. So they're basically haves and wants exchanges that we've done successfully with Orlando. We've done twice with the Realtor Board of Toronto. We've done with the CCIM chapter Realtor Board of Santa Clara County, which is Silicon Valley, California. And December 2nd, we're going to hold one with sort of a combination with the CCIM chapter of Puerto Rico, as well as the Realtor Board of Orlando, and of course, Miami Realtors Commercial. So we're excited about that. December 2nd, people basically hear some information about the local areas that are on the call. So South Florida and Puerto Rico and Orlando will present for just a few minutes each, give kind of everybody on the call some perspective on the different markets. And then we have one of our members, Josh Cohn, typically administers the call thereafter, which is everybody talks for a minute or two about a potential listing or a listing that they may have or a need for some property that they may have in different markets. So it's an information exchange session, marketing session that Paul Cauchi's been doing for 15 years, and this year we enhanced it to go external and go outside of South Florida and try to get those interactions going. So it's been a great program. That'll be December 2nd, I believe 9 o'clock. Typically they're 9 o'clock. And we've already engaged with Orlando and Puerto Rico for that call, that Zoom call. So I hope people can attend. Michael, why don't you tell us about the CCIM Outlook conference you have coming up?
Sure. That is our big event. As Stephen's the current president for Miami Commercial, I'm the current president for Miami CCIM. And our big event kicks off January at the very beginning of the year. It's going to be the second Wednesday of January, which I believe is January 12th. We've just identified a new location. So we've been very successful in the Gables market for about 14 or 15 years, and we're moving to a new hotel, to a new location, I should say. It is the Doubletree on the southeast corner of the Palmetto and the Dolphin Expressway. Many of you drive past it probably every day. The Doubletree there has been recently renovated in the last 2 years. They have amazing, gorgeous ballroom and meeting rooms there. If you haven't been there in the last couple of years, you definitely should go check it out. We will have the announcement on the website for the tickets. Probably will go live the second, probably around the 15th or 18th of November. We have announced Casey Conway as our keynote speaker. We are currently talking to several other speakers. We'll have all the hot topics in industrial, office, retail, multifamily. We're putting together a couple of interactive panels. One of them probably will be technology and apps. So, Grant, we might be giving you a call to see if you want to get up on stage and talk technology and apps and commercial real estate. We're putting that together. And the last panel we're still working on probably will be something with finance or lending. There's a lot of capital in the markets right now, so we want to know what's going on with that. So that's going to be our big event. Will be the Commercial Outlook Conference from CCIM on January 12th. So put that in your calendars and save the date. And real quick before we jump to Tamika, I just want to say, for those of you who are regulars here on Clubhouse, I was able to put Atso, which is one of our guests from about 3 or 4 weeks ago, put that in front of a client while I was working on a pitch. And I just spent $500 on Lex, and I am in the running on an IPO in the portfolio for the property in New York. So I don't know if anybody else has checked out Lex. They were on our Clubhouse a couple of weeks as well, and they're part of the Reach program. So just a little follow up on some of our past guests and some of the things that I've been doing with that. Tamika, what's up with you?
Hey everyone, and that's awesome, Michael. I did get that email as well, so I will be checking that out. So, my name is Tamika Moses. I am a third year commercial governor. So, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the city spotlight for the city of Miami Gardens in the first quarter of the year. So, the date will be determined pretty soon. We're going to do it alongside with the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, which is NAREB, which I'm also a board member as well. So, we want to highlight the city of Miami Gardens and all the development that's what's going on. As you all do know, that the Miami Dolphins has now relocated their whole entire facility there. So they have a lot of events that are coming up, especially the Formula One. We do see a lot of industrial that's coming up into the marketplace over there, as well as a lot of residential and hotel development that will become taking place within the next, I would say, within the next 2 to 3 years. So I'm very excited about us highlighting the city of Miami Gardens as it's really becoming a real destination area within Miami-Dade County as well. Also, so we just want to go ahead and just highlight that city, let everyone know what's going on in that area, what's taking place, how the market has completely changed on the commercial side and also on the residential side. So I'm looking forward to that. So we will be having a date for you guys soon with that.
I mean, it's incredible what's going on in Miami Gardens.
Yes.
World class tennis, NASCAR, obviously NFL football. The city is doing a lot when it comes to arts and just making, the city. They have Miami Jazz in the Gardens, which has some national and international music stars. It's incredible. So it's going to be really exciting. I'm sure we've got a great relationship with the city, Tamika. So we'll get the
Yes.
mayor, we'll
Oh
get
yeah,
some
we have a
city officials. There's a
yeah.
lot of huge developments, including industrial. So obviously, real estate's on the front and center. Does
Yeah,
anyone
and we have
else have
yeah, and
Yeah,
we
he
have
anything
has a good.
we have been
they'd like to
talking.
discuss?
We have been
Anyone
talking
else
to
have like a question for Grant or come up and
Just,
uh,
just,
make a
just a quick
comment?
comment, Paul.
Hmm.
go
Just a
ahead,
quick
Trippy.
comment. It is very interesting how is growing and growing this clubhouse, and it is very good. I see a couple of people that I haven't even mentioned it to them that this is going on, and shout out for Ninoska that is in my office. But just tell people that this is going on. This is a great event. This is a great source of information and a great source of business. So just to say,
That's a perfect segue because even
Yes.
Eileen and I can talk next Friday. We're already ready to promote next Friday's speaker. Will be an
Mm-hmm.
NR, but we have a real estate futurist who's doing some really working with some developers from golf courses to shopping centers to position those and create really future kind of the type of retail and the type of mixed use that people are talking about 20 or 30 years from now. They did a deal with Chef Ramsay here in Miami with one of their clients, and they've gotten some of the highest rents recently. So we're very excited. We already have that flyer done, so we're moving ahead next Friday when Tamika, Stephen, Michael, and I are going to be up to date and have some great questions for Amit. So we're looking forward to that as well. So next Friday at the same time, hopefully even Grant can join us too. And by then, some of our members have reached out to us on Rockval because Rockval is the type of program that we want to add for our members. It's got a really excellent price point, but for our members that are working with investors and tenants, it's going to be a really unique opportunity to be able to do some quick pro formas. um, Michael, Tamika, Stephen, you want to lead us out here? I'm here
Yeah,
on vacation, enjoying myself already, and going to see most of you next week at NAR. But Stephen, you want to start, and then
yeah.
Mike.
I
Yes.
just I don't really want to close it out yet. I want to take just about 15 seconds, and I want to commend Paul and Miami Realtors, and also Daniel Zapata, who's the social media guru at Miami Realtors, for just doing a fabulous job with bringing out Clubhouse this year and simulcasting it on the different other platforms like Facebook Live and I think Instagram Live also, and just really bringing all the power and intellect that Miami Realtors has and focusing on developing the Clubhouse platform. And Paul, especially on bringing in so many interesting guests, such as Grant today and many others before, and hopefully continues to just flow with such excellent guests. It is, as Chepe was saying, a really good platform, and we hope everybody recommends it to your associates so we can continue to increase our listenership here and interactive people here on the Clubhouse call. So thank you very much to Paul and to Miami Realtors for making Clubhouse happen this year.
It's a real
Hey,
team effort. Real team.
Paul, if I can interact there, I want to thank everybody because I was one of those that I wasn't sure about joining Clubhouse, and it is really fantastic. So, any of you all that are new to our group, please join us. All you have to do is click the little greenhouse up on the top and invite some of your contacts as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Next week's going to be great. I want you all
Yes,
to
it
tune
is.
in. Wait till you hear from Amit and what he's been doing and his vision. Michael and Tamika.
I'm
Michael
just
took the
going to
lead
say,
today.
oh well, thanks. I've got one foot out the door. My suitcases are on my bed; they are packed, and I'm going to be on a plane tomorrow. And I'm disconnecting for 4 or 5 days, and then I'll be back at work with Paul in San Diego on Thursday. So I hope everybody makes a lot of money between now and then, and I look forward to having some fun and some networking in San Diego. So thanks a lot, everybody.
This was another great, awesome talk. Again, thank you so much, Grant. The Rock Val program is really, really great, and I thank everyone for all the input. Thank you so much, Paul, for putting this together. Daniel, Steve, and Michael. Mike, you did a great job today. You took the lead, and I thank you for that. I am at an event right now, but everyone, I mean, if anyone else doesn't have any more questions, this is an awesome discussion today, and I look forward to speaking with you all next week on our next topic.
Bye,
Yeah,
everyone.
and
Thank.
I wanted to say thank you. Thank you
Sure.
for having me today. It was fantastic. Appreciate any feedback you want to provide. Please reach out to me directly. Grant, Grant, at rockval.com. happy to assist in any way possible.
Okay.
Hey, Grant, we just got a last minute request.
Yeah.
Luciano wanted to come up here and he asked for a question. So let's see if he pulls up. But if not, give him a moment. I just approved him
Yeah,
to
I
come
just
up to
saw.
the stage.
Yeah, I just saw him,
Uh,
and I don't know whether or
but
not
I
he
don't know what
dropped
happened
off.
to him. Now he's not online. So,
Yeah, it must have
okay.
dropped off. 'Cause I did see it.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks a lot for joining us and have a great weekend. And we'll see you here this time next week for our next Clubhouse next Friday. Have a great one.
But have a
Thank you,
great one,
everybody.
everyone. Thanks. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank,
All
Bye.
right.
thanks everybody.
Bye.
Have a nice weekend.